Hello and welcome back to the Rhode Island Highlanders Pipe Band Gold Standard Drumming Exercises video series. And in this one we are going to start with exercise 2B, which is sixes with rolls. And in some ways it's very similar to what you did in exercise 2A, although 2A was about single strokes, alternating but single strokes in that 16th triplet. Now we're going to take that same concept, but we're going to add pulses to it in order to work on our rolls, specifically what's called the three-pace roll in pipe band. A lot of pipe bands, when they are marching into the competition circle, or when you're playing a march set, or you're in a parade, you're going to start that set with what's called a three-pace roll. And it's just a roll that's 3 beats long with a rest on beat 4. So bzzz, stop. Rest, bzzz, stop, rest, and then you're into the tune. And so this exercise takes the idea that you set up in exercise 2A and now puts those pulses in to give it that 26 pulse roll or 26 stroke roll. And the reason that it's called a 26 stroke roll is because the underlying subdivision is based on a triplet, and it would be like bar 3 of the 2A exercise, where you have 2 sets of 16 triplets alternating, so 2 sixes, if you will. And if you imagine, instead of each of those as being a single stroke, as now thinking of each of those as a pulse, and the idea being that those are double strokes. We're not playing these open like the American marching style, but that concept. So you now have, instead of 12 individual strokes and then a release, it's now you're pulling in, since each one of those is considered double stroke, you're getting up to that 26 or 25, I should say, of that stroke where it's bzzz, dot, right? And you do not put a pulse in the middle, just like we talked about. You don't put an accent in the middle of bar 3 in 2A. You don't want a heavy pulse on beat 2 of bar 3 in this one. So you don't want bzzz, dizz, dot. It should be smooth as somebody taking a piece of paper and ripping it in half. Just shh, right? That same concept on the roll. Bzzz, dot. Okay? There should not be a heavy pulse in that roll in any way. And we're not starting with a single stroke either. It's all pulsed out. So we're going to start it nice and slow. Make sure that your fingers, arms are relaxed. You're going to have to let that stick move a little bit within your hand in order to achieve the pulse. You want a nice steady pulse as opposed to a choppy, choked out pulse. If it's sounding choppy and choked out like that, it means that you're bringing your fingers in too much and too hard. You're white knuckling that stick. It has to be able to move a little bit within your hand in order to achieve that nice buzz that you want. All right? So here we go. This is exercise 2B, 60 beats a minute, sixes with roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. No pulse. Heavy pulse, I should say. Here's the wrong way to do it. Avoid that. Don't do that. Nice and smooth. One more time, and. Now the other thing, like we talked about choking out, if I were to choke it out, this is how it would sound. We want to avoid this as well. 3 and 4 and. That's too choked out. Now that may be the underlying feel, the underlying number of times that you're moving your hands or your arms, but the right way to do it is to keep the fingers relaxed so you get that nice buzziness and not the choked out, oh my gosh, am I going to make it kind of feel. Okay, you should not have any tension in those rolls, just like you don't have tension when we're playing any of the other exercises we have. Now, much like some of the other exercises that we've done also, it's a good idea to play this one with a left hand lead. I'm not going to do it right now, but you get the idea from when we did it in exercise 2A. It is highly unlikely that you would ever be playing that 3-pace roll with a left hand lead. Not impossible. There are some bands that might do that, but for the most part, since most people are right-handed, it's going to be a right-hand lead. But you should feel comfortable with any kind of left-hand lead roll, whether it's a 7-stroke or a 6-stroke, 5-stroke, anything else like that. You should feel comfortable with a left lead as well. So even though it's unlikely that you would play it that way, it's not a bad idea to have it in your toolbox for this exercise as well. So keep on drumming, and we'll see you next time.